Hello? Hello, Mr. Obama? We're feeling the Zen Parish today. Uh, Definitely the vibe. How's everybody doing? I'm here. I did not put my rings on this morning, and I'm only just realizing that now. I feel naked. That's the kind of day it is, I guess. I put my rings on every morning when I brush my teeth, and I didn't do it today because I was so sleepy tired. Hi, Stars. Hi, Mommy. How you doing? I don't know. Naked hand stream. I don't know. Is this too risque for you guys? Is this too much? Seeing all of my fingers? I don't know. Feels a little slutty. We're just going to be working on swatches today so we can have silly little chats and vibes until I get all of the order confused and I put them in the wrong slots. But that's okay. Not a huge deal. All right. Good luck with work. Have fun with ears or whatever else you're doing today. We finished those ones, so we're on this page. That's how it is. But I probably want to actually start at the top and work my way down so that I'm less likely to rub my hand in pain again. Oh, yay, reports. The most fun. There is water on the table. Let's do that before it messes things up. I woke up super early today and couldn't get back to sleep, as you do when you have a demon brain. So energy might be a little weird today. I say as if my energy isn't weird every single day of my life. But we're just going to do some swatcheroonies. So we have many colors to do. We have 3.5 pages of colors to do. We'll see if I manage to get it done today. My ear is also really bugging me. We have more pressure shifts because of course we do. So my ear and my neck are bugging me. It's gonna be one of those days. I say, knowing full well it has been one of those weeks. I had a modeling session yesterday and another one the day before, and my neck is not pleased about it, which is fine. I'll just use my whatchamahoosit later, traction device, and that will help. But my neck made a really fun, horrifying sound a little bit ago because it's just one of those things where the ligament gets caught on something and then snaps like a rubber band. Thank you for the hydrate. I will hydrate. I did theoretically add some alterations to the hydrate alert, so we might get something different sometimes now. I've also added more bit alerts, and I made a list of what the bit alerts are for everybody. So that's my compliment to myself, is I was super on top of it and added a bunch of cool sounds and made a list today. I've been up since 5:30 in the morning. But we have a few new things, and then I have some other ones that I trimmed that I haven't put in yet. But that'll be fun. What else? I don't know. Oh, stretchy. That's what else I'm supposed to do. My brain is not online today. I do stretching now. All right, I'm actually stretching. Yesterday wasn't too bad, the modeling session. It was the teacher who does a lot of standing poses, so it's not too bad. Yeah. Oh, I have noticed something. I'm excited to test out these yellows, actually. Because I do have good yellows. I have yellows that I like, but I could use a little bit more variety because I do have like a very nice bright one. And I have it's in here somewhere, isn't it? Oh, it must be on a different sheet. The nickel yellow, which I really like. But yeah. Yeah, I have the Hansa yellow light. And I might want to do like a lemon yellow, get a lemon yellow. And there you go, Graham. But we've got some other yellows to test, which is good. I'm not a big yellow fan, I'm not gonna lie. Yellow and pink are my least favorite colors. Like, I appreciate them with other things, but they aren't colors that I'll pick to be in like my space unless they're mixed with something else. Yellow just because, I don't know. Apparently there's something where some people have a fourth color cone in their eyes, and those people tend to not like yellow as much and have like very specific color vision. So I'm wondering if I'm one of those people. Pink is because I was raised as a girl in the 90s, so. So I got real tired of it real fast because that was the only thing that, like, the only color anybody got me as a kid. Which is, one, a color thing in the 90s, because gendered colors really, like, burst back onto the scene in the 90s. But also I was the first girl born in my generation of cousins. So everybody got really excited that suddenly there was actually a girl. So there was a lot of gender opinions that I didn't have a say in. And I still don't like pink to this day because it was forced on me with no choice, much like my gender. Weird how that works. It's a trap, I think. I think is my real opinion. The gender's a trap. You heard it here first. I mean, no you didn't. This is not a hot take. I do like this yellow quite a bit, but I don't, just like in general, but I don't think it's one I would use a lot because I can get that doing a mix of some other stuff. Azo yellow is nice though. Yep. Yeah, sorry. Oh, I did also, I know Kuro's lurking, but I did give Kuro a list of voice lines for her to do for me to add to alert stuff. So one is go piss girl. I've already added that alert. I just did text to speech for it, which makes me take a break, basically. There is a time limit on that one. But two of the ones that I asked Kuro to do, I think once we get a face cam, you'll be able to see it makes me blush, which I think will be amusing for everybody. So, because it is no secret that I have a thing for voices, so especially with headphones in my ears, which is how you stream. So, yeah, Grim is very aware of this. But those will be coming soon. No rush. Kuro's giving me voice lines for free, so like it's whenever it happens. She said she'd try to do it this weekend, but again, we are not going to rush. We're going to say thank you, Mommy, and wait patiently like good children. Have I ever explained why I call Girl Mommy? I don't know that I have. And Rainbow's stream, who we've rated before and is a friend. Kuro is the stream mom because she's a mod over there. And so I just started calling her Mommy because I'm me. And she likes it, so I just keep doing it. I also think it's really funny to just scream hello mommy on stream in general. That is not in frame, is it? Not bad. These sheets are like big sheets of paper, so positioning them in line with the camera is a little bit of a task. I do feel a sneeze coming, like it's not now, but it's gonna happen at some point. I'm gonna have to like mute really fast. I put on perfume today because I was feeling it, and also our dishwasher's on the fritz and isn't draining properly, so it's stanky. And I was like, I know how to make things less stanky. Cobalt yellow next. Oh, I also finished, I mentioned before that I was, I needed to put together a reference sheet. This is straight up mustard yellow on the sheet. It just looks like a blob of mustard once it gets wet. Look at that. That's this one. That's mustard. I'm gonna eat it. That goes on a hot dog. And then we've got like a nice Dijon mustard down here. We should just name all yellows after different mustards. That's what we should do. But I mentioned that I needed to put together a reference sheet for Cap, who comes in sometimes, because I wanted to get a PNG tuber done. I did that. I sent it to Cap. Again, no rush on these things, but forward momentum. Although I was like, don't, please don't. They're poisonous. There's heavy metals in here. Gonna end up with more heavy metals in you than like, I don't know, a tuna. Tunas have heavy metals in them. Yeah, fair. Please don't eat the paints because it would inconvenience me. I think that will work better on you than the actual dangers. Medium, yes. Making sure that I'm not mixing up my paints. Yep. I might bring in these after I'm done swatching. I might bring in the dot cards for somebody else because I was talking to one of the students in the class I was modeling for on Wednesday, and she seemed interested in testing some stuff out, especially the gouache. So I might bring that in for her. Do you want some acrylic paint? I'm not using that, and it is also non-toxic. Here, I have a little sippy bottle for you. Here you go. This is for you, Grim. You could just suck that up. Slurp, slurp. No, I just hit the mic. I need to get better about that. Or just get the downstairs set up so I can use the actual fancy mic that I have. I think the bun should eat something other than paint. But if you're gonna eat paint, I can at least direct you towards something that won't actively hurt you. My dad calls that integrated pest control. which is why he'll get, when he gets donuts or whatever, he'll get a bunch of his favorite kind, but then he'll make sure to get my favorite and Greg's favorite, so that we go for those first and leave his favorite alone. This camera is really not capturing the color very well. Perhaps I should bump up the saturation. Also, this camera just sucks, but you know. I feel like there was something else I was gonna say. Oh, I was thinking I might bring these in. I said that for one of the students. It was about the reference sheet. I remember now. We got back on the train. Lib voice, thank you for re-railing me to my own brain. But I spent, like, one of the reasons that I didn't want to do the PNG tuber myself is because I started doing it. I want it to look like me. That's like part of the point. And I started trying to draw it myself, and I got, yeah, that's the joke, Grim. That's the joke, Grim. I started trying to do it, and it just made all the brain bad happen at once, because I've got issues. We knew that already. But I have issues with, like, my body now versus what it looks like in my head, because before my big bad depression slump, I had a very good and, like, solidified image of myself in my head that matched who I was. And one of the great things depression does is it absolutely tanks your memory. So, and because I was so disconnected from myself through that, the way that I look in my head is not how I look now. Have a good lurk, Bean. Thanks for popping in. But so when I started trying to, like, draw myself like that in some sort of accuracy, it really just messed with my brain. Did I just pull the right color? I'm not sure that I did. No, I sure didn't. Let's lift that up. Dum-dum. Yeah, and there's a lot to be said about various things with that. But for me, it's mostly just, like, dysmorphia, where I don't match, and it's stressful to me to deal with that. I've been working on it a little bit because I know that I can get better at it, like seeing myself as I actually am and not hating that. But I don't need to do all the big steps at once, you know. So I decided to commission Cap because the short version is he draw a fat lady really hot. And I was like, I think that'll be good for me. Just let somebody who's good at drawing hot chicks do my thing, you know? But I have gotten better at it over time. It is just, like, a lot of silly in-brain work. But, like, still to a degree, but I've gotten better about it. I don't look like myself in my dreams. Like, it's that level of disconnect. So I look like the version of me from like 2012. And so, I don't know. It's just hard to deal with. Thank you. I don't know. I have my moments, but as previously discussed, we have some issues. We're working on it, though. We're getting there. I gotta say, Naples yellow does not look like yellow to me. And I kind of want to research this color. I should put little dots on the sheet next to the ones that I want to research, because this is like... Thank you, Fighter Jet. This is like peach. This is not yellow. Like, that's like almost a skin tone. But yeah, so I had to take a bunch of reference photos of my face and stuff like that and point out, you could call them flaws. I called them features. So, like, things that I wanted included specifically because they're things that I've worked on with myself. So my chickenpox scars were one of the features. Acne around my chin is another one. Where like usually if you were drawing somebody, they'd ask you to not do that. And I'm being like, no, actually, put that in there. But after doing that, I felt a little weird, not as bad as when I had started trying to draw myself. But I was like, okay, I get this done, and then I don't have to think about my face for a while, right? I don't need to worry about it. Like, I'll put on makeup or whatever for going to these classes to model, but that's it. And then I showed up to the class on Wednesday. He was like, oh, yeah, we're doing only portraits today, i.e., I needed to think about my face more and then see a bunch of people draw my face. So it's like, oh, just kidding. Yeah. And I don't know, especially with the chickenpox scars, I've had a long time to work on that one because I got chickenpox before the vaccine was available in the US. And that was when I was in kindergarten, so I was 5. So I've had a long time to work on that, but I definitely did have bangs for a lot of my young life because I was self-conscious about them. Also, PSA, vaccinate your children, because that shit sucks. And we'll see if my sleeper cells ever decide to bother me, because one of the great things about chickenpox is that it can come back as shingles. Like the virus stays in your body and can reactivate at any point in your life, which is why you should get vaccinated. You can also get shingles vaccines. It's more likely to happen as you get older, but I'd rather not have to deal with that. But like that's like when if I looked at myself in a mirror and my scars weren't there, I would feel really weird about it. So I was like, I would like that on the depiction of myself, please. And Cap is specifically is 1, really good at drawing chubby lady hot, and 2 is really good at detail work. So I think that will be a good match. Oh, this is like orange. This is a nice color, but I don't think I'd use it. Oh, I wanted to put a dot next to the Naples yellow because I want to look at the history. Some of the names are curious to me in like I like learning about stuff kind of way. And the Naples yellow, because one of the things about, we talked about this the last time we were doing this, but one of the things about pigments is that not all of them are light fast or like good archivally, so they change color over time, especially depending on treatment. So a lot of the colors that we associate with certain periods of art are not the actual color the way it looked when an item was painted or dyed or anything like that. It's how the color faded over time. So I'm wondering if like the Naples yellow is like a copy of what a pigment looked like after it aged in something. It could also just be that they used a funky pigment that I don't know about, but and that's why art restoration is a big thing too, is trying to match the colors to what it was originally while still honoring the piece that people know. And it is a controversial subject. Here's our Aussie red gold. This is one of my mainstays now. It's such a good orange. That happens a lot with fabrics, especially, which is part of the reason why people tend to think of, aside from like a Hollywood issue, why people tend to think of medieval stuff as very dark and dingy and all brown. It's just because natural pigments fade faster than synthetics. There's also something to be said about like I don't want to use the word revisionist, the curated concept of history that a lot of people have, and many of those can be traced back to the Victorian era and their idea of proper history. But there's a lot of things that we assume culturally that are not actually true, like everything in medieval England being brown. There were actually a lot of bright colors. And if there's anything about humans that we know for sure across many centuries and many cultures, it's that we will do ridiculous things to find pretty color, including actively poisoning ourselves. But like all of our ancestors did not travel thousands of miles to find earth pigments for us to be obsessed with just brown. Permanent orange. I also don't know why specifically these ones are permanent. I would guess that it has to do with light fastness. But they do have a light fastness rating. And we'll find out too, because the reason I'm doing 2 sheets of these is so that I can do my own light fastness test. So basically, one of these sheets is going to stay inside my house in the dark, and one is going to get taped up in the window where the sun shines in. And we'll leave it there, and then we'll see how much it fades over time. Because there are, like I said, there are light fastness ratings on the sheet, but it's always different to see like a rating and then see the difference after a year or whatever. Let's see. It's not because it's staining, because it's rated as low stain. Let's see. Okay, that's for granulation.
And now for my next number.
And yeah, that might be why it's rated as excellent light fastness. So 100 plus years is their rating scale here. So that might be why. But there are quite a few that of the color names in this that just say permanent. And light fastness would make sense, but do I really know what I'm doing? Never. That's the Chandra Katie Bean guarantee. I don't know what I'm doing, but I will muddle through because I'm stubborn. I am glad that I had this nice little easy project all set to go. That was smart of me. In between my shoulder blades is sore. It's almost like I stood up a really long time yesterday or something. Weird. One of the, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Brain? Can you check in, please? Babe, you there? One of the exercises, I guess that's a good enough word, that this teacher has me do is something that he taught when he did life drawing in Florida. And Disney World folks would come and look at that exercise in specific because it's one where you're drawing the figure moving in space, which is important for animation. But it's basically a series of 3 poses where I'm taking 3 steps across the platform with a stick, like a walking stick. So it's 1 step, hold position, step, hold position, 3rd step, hold position. And it was shorter than we do for the beginners yesterday, but that's the hardest one. That's so hard for me. You don't really realize how many muscles you use to walk until you have to hold in place and keep your balance in a specific like in-between pose. So that one is like, I'm proud of myself because I did really well at it yesterday because I've been practicing. Because once I find something that I know they're going to want me to do a lot, I practice it at home so that I can like train my muscles and figure out ways to do it that's safer for me. Because especially in poses like the wide leg pose of in between steps is difficult on my hips. Thanks to hypermobility. My hips don't particularly like to stay in the socket. So I have to focus on that more than most people. Well, most people who don't have hypermobility. But basically, I've started just like when I'm brushing my teeth or washing a dish or waiting for food in a microwave, standing in one of those poses and just standing there until whatever task is done. It's a nice, easy way to like train the muscles, you know? Get used to stuff. But yeah, if you ever want to suffer, take a step, start taking a step, and hold that position for 10 minutes, and see how that goes. And then you can see a day in the life of Katie. I am, however, this is really interesting, but on Wednesday, because we were just doing portraits, I didn't have to be naked. And I actually preferred being naked. I don't like clothes. Well, I like my clothes at home because they're like, I wear like sleep shorts and sweatpants and a t-shirt that's big enough for 3 of me and that kind of stuff. And those are comfy, but I've realized that the clothing that I consider appropriate for outside wear definitely adds to my sensory issues, which isn't like a huge shock. I kind of knew that already, but going and expecting to be naked and then not being naked was definitely a different spoon category that I didn't realize was going to be as intense as it was. Which fun little discoveries you make. I do kind of want to look up why they decided to call these ones Mayan too. I would assume because it's related to Maya, but is there like a specific palette they're pulling from? Maybe I should make notes and then I can look stuff up later. Do I have a piece of scratch paper out here? I might not at this point because I've been so on top of cleaning things lately. I say as I look at the giant pile of crap to my left. I organized all my papers. Oh, we might have a art packing stream at some point too. Because I'm trying to package all my originals with certificates of authentication. So we might go through and do that. Me being me, I made a spreadsheet of all my originals. And I mentioned this last time, but if anybody has an original from me that you've purchased, you should have a certificate of authentication in the mail as we speak, because I sent them out at the beginning of this week. I did message everybody who should expect one, but because I was kind of slow on the start for that one. This coral is a nice color. Oh, I'm sorry, stars. Mine is too, if that helps. I mean, it doesn't, but misery loves company or something. I hope it gets less ouchy. I need to make sure to keep an eye on the exposure on camera because the sun is moving rapidly. Nah, I'll be fine. I just held my head in a funny position yesterday. I mean, my neck is rarely happy with me per se, but it's an easy fix. It's not a big deal. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you got some sleep. Maybe you stole my sleep. I'm okay with that. Because boy, did my anxiety hamster wheel start going when I woke up today. This is another color that I have and don't use very often. Pyrrole Scarlet. It's fine. I'll live. Tonight, I get a sleep in tomorrow. So Saturdays are like the day that I don't actually have anything in the morning. So I actually get a sleep in. And it's Friday, which means I can take an edible if I want to. I make rules. It is my little treat for getting through the week. I also take them if I'm having a lot of pain, but I very rarely have enough pain that I think that that's a reasonable thing to do. In memory, there's been 2 days where I've done that. Somebody has hired a dumpster and I can hear it outside. I guess at least it's different than the fighter jets, but now that I said that, they're probably going to fly over the house. This one. Yeah, this really just makes me want to do like a deep dive into the history of every single pigment that has ever existed. Actually, there's a book that's been on that I've wanted to read for like ages and I never did that's like that. Do I remember the name of it? I remember what the cover looks like. Do I have a physical copy of that? I might. But I should look and see if my library has it actually, because I just finished my other book last night. which was weird. I finished the fifth Wrinkle in Time book last night, and definitely after having gone through them, I understand why I didn't know that it was a series. They get real weird. Like, Wrinkle in Time is weird, don't get me wrong, but they definitely go a little off the chain, which were still interesting, but I did want to straight up murder one of the characters in the fifth one though, which was the point, and I get it, but also it was not pleasant to watch that happen. Just, I don't want to deal with this guy anymore. What is the name of this book that I'm thinking of? Nobody knows. That one. They've changed the cover. Disaster. Disaster for Scotland. Let me see if my Library has it. Sorry, you're getting distracted, Katie. I mean, as if I'm not always distracted. But because I didn't get enough sleep, I am weirder than normal. Why are you so loud, truck? Can you not? It does not look like they have it. Let's try this other one. That one was at least the title thing. No, I will deal with that later then. I need to figure out what book I'm doing next. What I should do is finish the book that I started reading last year and have been reading in tiny little bits. But that doesn't have as much serotonin as a new book. It's such a good book to just read little spurts of, though, because each of the little chapters is just like pretty much self-contained. So it's very easy to like be in bed like I'm not quite tired enough to go to bed, but I don't want to like play a video game or something, and put that up and read a little bit. The history, no. If Walls Could Talk, The History of the Home or something like that by Lucy Worsley. Which basically goes through a standard home and tells you how the various rooms came to be. So it tells you like the history of bathrooms, the history of toilet paper, the history of a kitchen, the history of the closet, that kind of stuff. And it's all very interesting. It is very Eurocentric, which Lucy Worsley is a British historian, so that makes sense. She also has a very cool book, The Art of the English Murder. If you're into murder and true crime, I highly recommend that book. It's very interesting. It goes over basically the pop culture of true crime in England. So like Jack the Ripper is a big one, obviously, but there were a lot of other high-profile murders that made big effects on pop culture and just kind of changed views on things. And there's also like a lot of plays and stuff around the time that were inspired by various murders and stuff like that. It was a very interesting read. I've actually read it 3 times because it's interesting. It also talks about how various sites of murders became like tourist destinations to the point that for some murders, that there was one in specific, and I'm not going to remember the full case, but it took place in a barn, and it got to the point where there wasn't a piece of the barn left because people kept coming and taking pieces of the wood from the barn as like little souvenirs. Which is like, yeah, humans have always been a little weird, huh? Humans see some sort of weird tragedy and go, okay, but what if it was fun? Very interesting book. Do I have that one on audiobook? I don't think I do. Permanent red. Let's go. Ah, see, this one is just very good in lightness rating. A moida? What kind of moida? Give us the deets. I'm very true crime. I'm one of those true crime girlies, but not that kind of true crime girly, if you get my gist. One of this will say so much about me. One of my comfort shows is Forensic Files, which is not as unusual as I thought it was, because the narrator is very even-toned and it's nice to have on in the background if you don't get too freaked out. Very documentary-ish. I also need to replace the straw in my water bottle because it's cracking, which is great. We'll see how long until it cracks enough that it catches my lip and makes me bleed. I have a bad habit of biting straws. My mom did too. Permanent red deep. Next row. So I want to rinse that off. You cannot see my water cup, but do you guys want to see the water? We're looking kind of grapefruit juice-ish at this point. Which now I want grapefruit juice, so that was not the smartest move I've ever made. I always want grapefruit juice. I just like juice. I also just like grapefruit. And I gotta enjoy it. For everybody else who can't. We were having this discussion in a Discord I'm in earlier, because a lot of people can't have grapefruit because the acidity can mess with how you absorb medication, because citric acid in general, and grapefruit is especially acidic, breaks through medicines faster. So you can absorb the wrong amount and it won't last as long, and you get like a big hit at the front, which can mess with stuff. But I'm not taking anything that important, so I can chug as much grapefruit juice as my little tummy will hold. And occasionally I do. The face scrub I use, like the face wash I use at night, actually is grapefruit flavor. And it always makes me want grapefruit juice at night after I've brushed my teeth, which is a crime against humanity. This is very magenta-ish. Oh, I guess it's, I don't know how to pronounce that. Quinacridone? Maybe? Quinacridone, magenta, and rose I have. Not just straight red, though. It is very magenta-y. Oh, we're getting brighter. I should lower the brightness. Because the sky is looking pretty clear, so it's looking like it's going to stay out today. We're entering first breakup here. We don't really have spring. We have winter, and then we have first breakup, and then we have more winter, and then we have real breakup, and then we have construction season. Here, is that gonna be better? Right there, I think. I think that's better. It's always a little brighter on the capture than it actually looks on screen. Was I saying anything important? Not really. Although we have gotten to the point of false breakup, where you can see just how god-awful the roads are underneath all the ice. One of the roads near our house was so bad that Greg mentioned that they've been out to patch it twice this week. Because with all that freeze and thaw, it gets really bad, and then people have studded tires on for a lot of the year, which tears up the roads too. It gets pretty bad. Oh, I meant to message one of the teachers about ACS because I think it would match the music that he plays in class. And I think that he would like it. I think it would be a little bit weird for me to mention it, but also whatever. I'm weird. Deal with it. And I think he would also like the Bird movie, actually, which is a band I quite like. This one is pretty muted. It's interesting. I'm kind of tempted. A lot of these color names, so like I mentioned, there's a few that are named permanent. There's like a range of cadmiums, stuff like that, where pigments have similar names, which imply they have similar applications. Or similar pigments. It would be interesting to lay all of those next to each other, like with this Mayan set, and see what kind of palette that makes. Because these are arranged vaguely in color order, which makes it really satisfying for the swatch sheet. I'm one of those kids who definitely poured all of my crayons out of the bucket and then rearranged them in color order. Are you normal, or did you rearrange all of your art supplies by color? Which, like, I don't know what order they put them in, but it doesn't make sense to my brain. Like, there must be a reason they put them in that order. This is a good blood color. I think maybe we've avoided the sneeze from earlier. Maybe we managed. Now that I said that, though, it's going to come back and surprise me, because that's how it works. Yeah, okay, so we've got, again, I don't know how to pronounce most of these. Alizarian, Crimson, and then we have the permanent version next to it, and they have different light fastness ratings on, like, the opposite ends. So that must be what the permanent means, it's just that it's more light fast. Oh, I think we've got a street grader. That's exciting. This is so wild. So we have local elections. It's a mail-in ballot. I already did mine because you should vote. Oh, that's something else I haven't mentioned. I added a voting command. So if you're in the US, you can do !vote voting or voter, I think. And it will bring up a website where you can go check when your next voting date is. I can word. It wouldn't let me just do vote, which was annoying, but it's fine. Yeah, those are very different colors though. So these are both the, again, I don't know how to pronounce it, Alizarian Crimson. This one's permanent, and this one doesn't have the permanent in front of it. It's pretty different. This one is much more magenta toned. This one's much darker and less purple, which is interesting. I'm kind of glad that I took so long arranging all of the little squares on this because it looks real nice. Looks real nice. Yeah, that one. But one of the big I cannot think of the words today. I cannot do words. One of the big policies that's up for debate for stuff in town is snow removal. Because the guy we currently have has biffed it so hard. Imagine, well, 2 years in a row, I should mention, he's biffed the snow removal so bad. So on like every legitimate candidate's list of things, it has snow removal listed. So we need to get the snow removal back on track. Yeah, we do. You right. This is a very pretty color. It's going to be real expensive though because it has little genuine after it. So it's a real rock. Not very opaque either, which is fine. I do, maybe one of these days, as a big treat, I will get some lapis lazuli paint. Oh, here's Carmine. I got to give a bunch of Pokemon people a lesson about Carmine because in one of the DLCs there's a character named Carmine. And I was like, that's a color. Let me explain to you the color. Because it used to be made by crushing up little bugs. Which kind of suits the character. I don't know if it was chosen because of that, but it tracks. The name, I mean. Because I do know that there's different names in different languages for the Pokemans. Okay, we've moved from white grapefruit juice to like ruby red grapefruit juice. Yeah! There's a whole bunch of interesting stuff that in pigment history. But that one was fun for me. I just like knowing things and having a fun fact. And getting to explain words to people is also fun for me. People are like, Carmine, what's Carmine? And I'm like, well, allow me to give you the tiniest little history lesson in this Twitch chat right now. I got to explain what the 4 humors were to Rainbow a while back to highlight of the month right there. I just like knowing stuff. And getting to share what I know. Hello? Also, just like, I don't know, pigments are very interesting to me. Because, I mean, it's less the case now that we have a bigger, like, international market. But there were very localized color palettes because you only had so much stuff in one area that you could make paint out of, you know? So it's always interesting to see the local palette versus what happened once people started trading farther away. Because fighting over pigments was definitely a thing that happened. Perhaps not as publicly as spices, but it was for sure a thing. I love the Opera Pink. This is another one that's a regular on my palette. I'm not shrimping. You'll be so proud of me, Streamlabs. Thank you. I'm actually sitting nice and proper today. Potter's Pink is another one. The colors that are named after somebody are always interesting. I would guess Beatrix Potter, but I don't really know. Because Beatrix Potter was a very good watercolor artist, in addition to being a writer. Need to remember to put a star next to it so that I look it up. This is a nice muted tone, though I think that I could mix it. But there's the joke color for named after somebody is always Hooker's Green, because the guy was named Hooker and he mixed up a green. And it's a good green. But funny name. Do I remember what pigments are in Hooker's Green? I don't. I know that there's like, maybe it's ochre, yellow ochre, and something else. Let me do this. Red stars are going to be for looking up. At some point I'll go through these and decide which ones I actually want to order. I know one for sure already because I've seen somebody else use it. And I know that I'll use it a lot. Which, it's not on this sheet, it's probably on the next one. That's their lavender color. It's very blue tone for lavender, like what I would think of as lavender, but it's a good color. It would be nice to have like my quote-unquote branding colors just straight out of the tube, which the lavender isn't quite the like lilac color that I use, but close. Here's another one that I already have. I do wish they sold a lot of these colors in smaller tubes. I get why they don't, but the 15 milliliter tube is like a lot of paint. I guess I go through it more now. Like I have actually had to buy more colors, like more tubes of the same colors that I use a lot because I've been painting more. But it's so much. It feels wasteful, even though they don't like go bad. They might split a little bit, but it's not nothing that's not fixable, you know? That was a god-awful sentence. Good luck. do want to find a better black than the one that I'm currently using from this brand for sure. Because the black that I'm using is very, very granulated, which makes it difficult to get a really dark in the places that I want to use that. A lot of people just don't use black at all and they mix their own colors to make black. But I do like having like an actual black on hand. Especially if I'm doing like typography kind of stuff. Because just laying in a watercolor black and then going over it with something darker is very useful. Now we're on magenta. I have that one too. I do think lemon yellow will definitely be one I add to my palette. I have the Hansa light yellow, but lemon yellow would be good. I have New Gamboge too, which is nice for mixing, but it's more an orangey, very warm tint. Lemon yellow is kind of in the middle hue-wise. Between that and the Hansa yellow. Because Hansa is like more on the greenish side. That's the thing with yellows and a lot of different colors. There's like the shade that it's tilted towards either direction makes a big difference. So like reds, for instance, you can have like a purple red, you can have a warm red, like a warmer red, and it will make a big difference when you're mixing stuff. That is the last like red. So I think once we get through the purples for sure, I'm gonna want to change out my paint water. Or I could just do it now. Maybe I'll finish the sheet and then go change it, and then I can take a quick break. Take a bathroom break, wander around a little bit. Crack my neck 3 different ways. You know how it is. Do I really need to change the paint water? No, probably not. It's not that intense, but it makes me feel better. I do wish I had like a better camera set up for this so that you could actually see everything. But only so much to be done about that. Ooh, the permanent violet is nice. I do have one purple from Daniel Smith, and it's a good purple, but it is like very blue purple. So it might be nice to add a redder one to the pile. That one's nice, and if it's permanent, it's going to be pretty good for light fastness, which is also good. I will say that I'm really glad that I did the pearlescent colors first, because that would have been such a bummer to end on, because they're not doing it for me. They are a little shiny. The electric blue is pretty good, but overall those were a bit lackluster, if you'll pardon the pun. Well, even if you won't pardon the pun, I'll say it that way. This is a nice deep color. This is like a lipstick color for me. Slap that on my lips and I'm good to go. I haven't worn lipstick in ages because I'm always wearing a mask. And I really don't need dark cherry lipstick up in my nose, you know? This is much lighter than I expected it to be. That actually may be closer to the purple that I've been using. Oh, there's a deep one too. We'll find out if that is even better. I like you. That's a nice purple. I mean, there isn't really a bad purple, if we're being honest. The majority of purples slap pretty hard. I do like that one, though. It is pretty... Granulation is pretty intense on this one, I can tell already. But I do like that effect. It just makes it a little bit more difficult to work with, especially if you're trying to do like something really specific. It kind of goes out on its own and does its own thing, which same. So Okay, I'm gonna let these ones dry a little bit, and I'm going to take a quick break, which means I'm going to run some ads. So you can look away, you can mute the tab, you can take a break with me, you can, I don't know, do a little dance, have a little shimmy, get a snack, maybe. Do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself. And I will be back in a little bit.
There will come soft rains in time when you are gray and older. Not a single cloud will know the burdens we have shouldered. If I may stand on your stage, larger than life, and life as large as we are. This lonely light looms in the cosmic night. We fell in love and spilled our blood on the pale blue dye. Every way erodes the lives till there's no good, there's only kind. Kids and killers share their bones on this, the only home we've known. If I may stand on your stage, larger than life, and life as large as we are. This lonely light looms in the cosmic night. We fell in love and spilled our blood on the pale blue dye. And by desire, the iris of your eyes that hints of amber in the artificial light. Once brilliant blue, so innocent and new, wider than the endless night around a tiny view.
All right, I return. It does look like I need to change the brightness again. The sun, the sun, it's so bright.
Do you feel it? The lack of wind, but abundance of air.
The angle of the sun changes so dramatically here. It's pretty wild. Okay. We get to do Wisteria, which is a color that I think I'm gonna get. We did that for the gouaches too, this color. That's what's up next. I think that one is pretty close to what I've been doing for my branding colors, which having it, like you can mix it. It's not the easiest color to mix, but it's manageable. But having it straight out of the tube would just make my life so much easier. Because really, if I lighten up the cobalt teal enough and do this, then those are the branding colors, and that makes life so much easier. Because I basically just picked my favorite colors for branding. And these are actually the colors that the like mint and the lilac kind of color are the colors that I picked to customize my Switch Joy-Cons with. And I was like, those look nice together. I like it. I'm just gonna go with it. And here we are. But those colors are not the easiest to find in a lot of things. Like, since I'm an artist, I make a lot of my own stuff, which makes that easier to a degree. But like finding paper to print like sticker backings and stuff in those colors is like difficult. I have found some place that has colors that are close enough that it's fine. At least to my standards, and since I'm the one running it, it's my standard that matters. But if I was a more forward-thinking individual, I might have thought of that while I was planning stuff out. Although I didn't realize, I kind of half shimmied my way sideways, crab scuttled, if you will, into doing this. Because when I first started doing the branding stuff, it was just for streaming. And I did that a significant amount of time before I actually started streaming. Because I've been threatening to stream basically the entire time that I've been hanging out on Twitch. So like, that would have been, what, 2015-ish? 2014? Somewhere in there, onwards. And I finally did it. But I wasn't thinking about like physical stuff when I started planning stuff. I was just like, these are my favorite colors. They're easy to use digitally. There are shades of it that are like close enough that look good on both light and dark backgrounds, so that's fine. And then here we are with me ordering paper samples, trying to find out what the closest version is. And God help me if those colors go out of style. At some point though, like once I quote unquote make it big, I'll probably do sticker backings that are printed instead of like the actual image is printed, instead of just printing the text on a sheet of paper that's the right color. But we're not there yet. We are making headway though. For surezies, which is good. I need to look at my schedule and see what the dealio is next week, so I can start planning things. I do have Patreon posts to write. That's a tomorrow morning task, probably. Those ones shouldn't be too bad. I do need to start thinking about moving listings over and working on the website. I think that's the next big thing. feels very overwhelming, if I'm being honest. This is the purple from them that I actually have. Yeah, it's much bluer purple than the other one I was looking at. I think I talked already, well, another day, that my brother's friend who's helping me build a computer, after he explained everything to me, actually made a list of things that he thought would suit my needs for me, and he's offered to help me actually build it too, which is the part that's extra scary. But he genuinely likes doing that stuff, so it's nice. He's a nice guy. Here's another genuine one. So the paint colors that have genuine next to them mean that it's like the actual rock or what have you that's used as the pigment instead of it being like a synthetic match. So those are intriguing to me, because I do love me a natural pigment. They have just like such a specific earthy tone to them. Like they're more muted generally, which I like. It's not always what I want, but I do find them attractive to look at. I do like this one. Just a nice color. I just like color. I like the colors. I'm getting so many emails today. I'm so popular. We've started, well, I've started, I should say, getting, because I mentioned a while back that I'd actually gotten a business license, all nice and proper. So I've started getting like spam mail basically for various things, both to my email and to my address. Like, oh, you must need a payroll managing software. No, it's just me. It's just me being silly. Don't worry about it. Do you need somebody in HR? No, I'm HR. I complain to myself. I'm also the manager. Man, is she a bitch about scheduling? You know, like... Even with my other job, so the modeling job, I don't really have a boss. I have somebody who does the scheduling. I have somebody who signs my paychecks. But I have not interacted in person with either of them. And in fact, I have not interacted at all with the person who signs off on my timesheets. Ooh, this one's amethyst genuine. So this is real crushed up amethyst in here. I'm excited. I bet this costs like $1 million. But, and of course, they only sell it in the big tube. I would think with the, especially amethyst, I know, with the actual rock pigments, it would be very dependent on the rock itself. So I wonder if they're how they like quality check it. Because this one does have like a nice kind of blue undertone to it. That's another color I would wear as lipstick. Maybe I need to decide on what game I'm playing next. I've mostly been doing things that I can do while I'm listening to audiobooks, because I had one really long one to finish for my book group, which actually I should mention that Tuesday next week I am streaming, but it's going to be a shorter stream because we have a book meeting to talk about the book that I did not particularly enjoy, but everybody else seems interested in, so that's gonna be interesting. Like, I do have specific points of why I didn't like it. It's not just like a vibe check kind of situation, but that will be interesting. I have an issue, like myself, where I have difficulty being critical of things where other people can hear me, especially if it's something that they've enjoyed. So that's gonna be an exercise for me in open behavior, because I very much am used to, if my opinion differs from a group of people, getting panned for it, which I know will not be the case in this group. They aren't going to turn into like elementary school bullies, but knowing that and telling my nervous system that, two different tasks, especially since it's not just an elementary school bully issue. It's other stuff that people who know me can probably guess at. I just managed to find a big old blob of black on that paper towel and rub it into my fingernail. Classic Katie. I think I got it most of the way off. Man, I took the nail polish off yesterday because it was really ratty, because I also did dishes yesterday, which is a nail killer. And that green dyed my fingers for a significant amount of washes. What color am I on? I just did Moonglow, right? Yeah. Moonglow is another one that I have. It's a nice substitute black. And it's got good granulation, so I like using it for backgrounds if I'm not doing anything specific. I was talking about games. That's how I got on that tangent. But I just finished doing all the achievements in Dredge, which I was really playing through for the second time. But the first time I played it was on Switch. So I also did the DLC, which I hadn't done on Switch. So that's fun. But now I need to decide what I'm playing next. I did buy games yesterday, which should I have done that? Perhaps not. Did I do it anyway? Absolutely. Oh, here's the one that is like so chunky that you can see it on the page. I don't know that it'll be super clear on camera because this camera kind of sucks. But this guy, Sugalite, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it looks like granulated sugar. I'm interested in this. I need to know more. Because she chunky. Move this for a second. We're getting to the point where it's far enough down the sheet that stacking them on top of each other is more of a nuisance than a help. It's an interesting color. But it's so chunky. So chunky. But when I was writing the names down on the sheets, I saw this one and I was like, oh, what's going on with this texture? I mean, it's because it's a rock, that's why, but it is definitely chunkier than the other genuine rock ones, so I'm wondering why. I need a geologist on deck at all times for this. I'm going to make a little star next to it so that I remember to look up what's up with that. It is a cool color, but it does have like a sheen to it because of the rock bits in it, which is interesting. Because it's a pretty muted tone, which makes sense because it's an earth tone. But the sheen is very interesting to me. It might be worth getting that just because it amuses me. That depends on how much the tube costs. But there will be some of these that I buy like right off the bat, and then there will be some that I'll probably put on like my throne wish list. If people want to get them for me. Ooh, this one's really pretty too. This is kyanite. That's a lovely color. Tuesday is still March. That is important to note. Maybe we'll see if I can manage to get the line art for the coloring book done over the weekend. I'm wondering how much of these swatches I want to do today. That's why I'm looking at stuff. If I can manage to get the coloring sheet done, then I could do that on Tuesday and probably Friday. That will not be a one-stream task. I learned my lesson with the cursed carousel. But I could also leave about half of this left to do, because this does take a little bit. So I could finish this sheet and then we can do the rest next time or whenever I finish the coloring sheet. Because it's a nice low energy task. It doesn't take too much brain power, really. And it's good to have something on standby, I think. Although I would also like to get this done so that I can order colors. Now I guess I could record filling in one of these squares for the TikTok that I've been working on since I started doing these. Let's do that right quick while I'm thinking about it. Otherwise, I will forego. What do I have here that will work to prop this up? Salmiakki, you can help me. Probably. Usually when I angle like this, I use a mirror to check the angle. Because it's just easier. Do I have an actual proper camera stand? Yes, yes I do. Do I use it? No, no I don't. Because it's an extra step. And if there's an extra step, my brain throws a hissy fit. And that's fine. Alright. I do have a bad habit of taking video and then promptly just leaving them on my camera roll and not doing anything with them. So I have me inking like some of the green critters. I did a video with one of those inkings and I haven't done the rest. I also need to do art versus sticker for some of the newer sticker designs that I've done. I just don't want to. I don't want a social media. It's so exhausting. And does it really make a difference? I don't think that it does. Have I made a sale from a TikTok? I don't think so. Most of my sales have been from Twitch or Tumblr. That's like it. Which isn't like a huge deal, but Instagram is also dying. It used to be good for artists and they changed a bunch of stuff and now everybody's fleeing ship for Threads, which I also am not particularly fond of, and I don't know. I'm tired. I know me complaining about social media is nothing new, either for me or just in general, but kinda sucks, bro. gosh, next up is lapis lazuli. The star, the myth, the legend. Lapis lazuli is what is, it's like the most expensive pigment and has been for ages. This is the blue that you see in a lot of like Renaissance paintings. So like the reason that Mary, as in Jesus's mama, has blue is because it was the most expensive pigment for a significant amount of time. And that was the original basis for ultramarine blue, which is not the case anymore. But lapis lazuli is like a flex. It's like, hey, did you know that I have a art sugar daddy who will buy me this good shit? Enough of the good shit that I can use it on like this entire fabric. I can make it the center of a piece. Look at me go. There's actually a video going around on Tumblr, I think it was Tumblr, of one of those really nice Chinese production videos, like the traditional production videos, where they make things that are nice and slow and you get to watch them, and they randomly have like animals and cats and stuff interspersed in the stuff of making a lapis lazuli paint. I just hit the mic really hard. I am so sorry. I went to scratch my nose and I just slapped you. Apologies. I just think, I don't know, I just think lapis lazuli is neat. This is French ultramarine, which would have been with lapis lazuli as well back in the day. Maybe I will hide the chat post-it for a bit. We aren't really popping in the chat today, which is perfectly okay, but it would mean that you would be able to actually see what's going on more, because we would have more space on the camera. So you fill in that square and then do that. This button. There we go. Now you can see more. Are you excited about that? I love how all of this is like in nice color order, and then Opera Pink's just like, hey, what's up? This is like the Lisa Frank hanging out in the middle of everything. I'm still just so enamored with, I still don't know how to pronounce that. I want to call it Sugar Light just because I think that's funny, but I bet that's not right. Because it's so shiny. Like, I like this better than the Pearlescence. I might just get that. Ah, hi Aiden. Yeah, I know, right? It's so bright. And I do have Opera Pink on my regular palette. It is a very intense pink. And I keep thinking like, oh, maybe I want a pink that's not so intense, but just nobody can do it like her. But like, I want to eat that. Yeah, it's definitely a party color. Yeah, and they aren't even like super muted. Like, they are bright colors. It's just nothing can match that pink. It's like neon. Yeah, she pink. It's not even pink, it's pink, you know? That was French ultramarine. Now we're on regular ultramarine. What makes the other one French? Couldn't tell ya. It might be that the original pigment comes from France. Because like I said, lapis lazuli was the basis for ultramarine. So it might just be that the different lapis lazuli in different countries is significantly different because the buildup would be different. So that would make sense. The pink, yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, candles shine brightest in the dark, you know? It's just how it is. Oh, maybe I should ask Greg if he wants me to burn a candle out here to help with the dishwasher stink, actually. I don't know. He's delicate with scents, which is totally fair. But I can offer. We can at least make it smell different. I definitely need to get that and figure out how to pronounce it too. That would be important. That sugarlight, whatever you want to call it, however it's pronounced, is so cool and I really like it. Would I use it for anything? Maybe not. Would I stare at it constantly? Yes. Just for fun. I do have a rose scented candle that's pink. So I could make it smell like pink. Although, if I was going to make something that smelled like this pink in specific, I think it would be like cotton candy or bubblegum. Like if I was assigning scents, this is like double bubble bubblegum. Try saying that 5 times fast. I'm not gonna. Okay, cobalt blue. Hello, friend. You look much less intense than our ultramarines, which makes sense. Yeah, definitely a cotton candy-ish color, or what is it? Candy floss. I wanted to call it fairy floss, which I think is Australian. I do like the cobalt blue, which is not a shock. Blue is another one where just like all of the colors are bangers. Dad's beard in France? I hate that. Ugh. I don't want to eat Dad's beard. Ew. I kind of hope you are wrong just because that's horrifying. I'm gonna look it up right now because I need to know. I need to know. Oh, it is. It's. Oh. 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 See, German wins again. That makes sense. Yeah, that's. Yeah, let me go to the state fair to get some fresh daddy's beard. That's. No. No, thank you. I feel like French used up all its good language to do pomme de terre, and nothing else can match it. Apple of the earth, spot on, perfect, correct. Any number in French, the most complicated thing you've ever come up with, and they call cotton candy daddy's beard. The things you learn about our beautiful planet Earth. Oh, see, but now that I know this, I can ruin a lot of other people's day with this knowledge. I did say I cursed myself at the beginning of stream when I said I love a fun fact. I love knowing things. Sometimes knowing things is a curse. Yeah, thanks, Ada. Good to see you. Thank you for the nightmare fuel. Oh, Aiden, you might know this about this. I am really bad at just like saying a sentence that makes sense. Ew, what? Aiden, why are you attacking me today? It's like, oh yeah, by the way, we've known each other 5 years. Time. Ugh. I'm being attacked. I'm being attacked. But somebody suggested to me that I should try Irish moss jubes. You should explain what that is to me, because it has Irish in it, which means you know. You have to know. That's how it works. But that's wild that we've actually known each other 5 years. That's... wow. What's time? It's a kind of candy that one of my friends said I should try, but they're from New Zealand. So I wonder if it's like actually an Irish thing or what. Because I did a quick search. I just looked on like Amazon, American Amazon. Jubes, jubes. But I mentioned that I've been trying like random candies. He said that I should try that. But looking on American Amazon, there was nothing. So it sure is a word. I'm pretty sure that's where jujubes also comes from, and then it got shortened to jubes, I think. Which comes from a language. Do I remember which language? I don't. But jujubes is one of those words that got sucked up in colonialism. So it's a native language word from some place where white people came and ruined the day. And I don't remember which country it's from. Oh, next up is King's Royal Blue. So we hate this color already. Hey Goose, how you doing? Yeah. Okay, I'm not putting my hand in the paint. I'm not putting my hand in the paint. I'm not gonna do it. This blue is a fine color, but you know what? Anything related to the king can go away. Ah, yeah, have good cook. Don't burn anything. Fair, Aiden. But I did get more salmiakki, which is Finnish. I got the Finnish kind. It is salmiakki is in various places, but well, don't burn yourself. How about that? If you have a choice of what to burn, don't burn you. Should I do not the... I'm not going to make a complete sentence. Don't worry about it. Can you tell that she woke up at 5:30 this morning and couldn't get back to sleep? Because I sure as heck can. Open the folder, please. Thank you. I think that I can do just the chat box and not do the legal pad, and then... couldn't tell you, Aiden. Which one? Salmiakki or the jubes? I'm just gonna keep saying that word because I know that you don't like it. What color? This one. See, this is like the King's Blue, but better, and it doesn't have monarchy involved. Couldn't tell you, because when I looked it up, I just looked on Amazon really quick when I was thinking about it the other night when I couldn't sleep. Are you noticing a pattern? And really all that I found was some sort of Irish moss powder stuff that's a health supplement that looked like I don't want it in my mouth. Which is how you can tell it's healthy, I guess. I don't know. And I don't know why you'd want to eat the moss specifically that way, but it sure is a thing that people do, I guess, since it was an option in many different brands. But I'll need to check someplace else and see. Because I think Al recommended it when I was talking about salmiakki, which is black Irish or black Irish. Yeah, that's the word that I was looking for. Black licorice based. So if I liked that, I should try those. So I'm guessing that's probably why it's really dark. That would make sense to me. Because I do like me some black licorice. So my brother has said that he wants homemade mac and cheese enough that he thinks he's going to make it for lunch after I'm done streaming and out of the way. So I might end a little early so that I can have mac and cheese. Yeah, so there's red licorice and there's black licorice, and in the US, I don't know how it is anywhere else. And red licorice is like artificial fruit flavor. So usually it's strawberry or cherry or something similar. Yeah, I'm sorry. I love you guys, but mac and cheese will always win. Which I don't think anybody will blame me for. What? Aiden? Homemade mac and cheese was a constant in my household. That's one of the things my mom made a lot. And it's always been my favorite because hot cheese, hello. So, yep, it's true. But you know what's even better than just mac and cheese? Mac and cheese shared with friends. It's true. Interesting. It is a very American meal. Like the reason that Kraft mac and cheese became a thing was it was a package meal selling basically during the Great Depression because it had powdered cheese and pasta, which is filling and wasn't very expensive, which is how they were packaging powdered cheese with pasta, and then a company took it over. Yeah, the Kraft one of the box mac and cheese, it's the standard one, so it gives you a good representation. But homemade is different because you make like an actual roux to thicken the cheese. Not everybody does it this way. That's how we do it. Yeah, box mac and cheese is mid. That's just how it is. It's one of those foods where if you didn't grow up with it, it's not that good, you know? Like, I'll be honest. I'm aware that it is not the best meal in the world. Do I still crave it? Yes, absolutely. But homemade mac and cheese is a different beastie. And I like this color. Oh yeah. I won't lie. I mute that channel on a regular basis. y'all wilding in there. But yeah, so my mom does did homemade mac and cheese, and my brother does it pretty much the same way. It's a thing in a Discord that we're both in, Aiden. People were arguing about how to make pasta, basically. And whether or not you salt the pasta water was a big deal. But there are multiple different ways to make American mac and cheese from scratch. And the way that my family does it is we make a roux in the cheese sauce. Which a roux is just equal parts of flour and fat. We use butter. And you cook that, and it activates the gluten basically, so it'll thicken up a sauce. So you do that in milk, and then you put cheese in it, and then you put it on your pastas. Yeah, Yeah. um, and then some people do it differently, but um, we'll put it the we'll mix the pasta into the sauce and put that in a pan and then put cheese on top and stick it in the oven for a little bit. Is how we usually do it. And again, this is not the only way to make homemade pasta, like homemade mac and cheese. Um, it's just the way my mom did it. I do like it that way, but that's probably partially because my mom made it that way, you know? And what you have as a kid definitely influences the kind of things that you want to eat as an adult. Sometimes for better and sometimes for worse. Although, luckily for me, I don't have a huge amount of food trauma from my childhood because my mom was really good about not making us eat things that we didn't like. Which I will say was one of her major successes as a parent in my eyes. Yeah, exactly. It's just the stuff that you had as a kid just hits different. It does. It's like that scene in Ratatouille, honestly, where the mean critic gets slammed back into his childhood when he takes a bite of the ratatouille. You know, it's a very emotional connection. Like one of those, another family one is potato salad. My great aunt Fifi made the best potato salad in the world. And like, even if you follow her recipe, it doesn't turn out the same. It's not as good as when she made it because there's something to be said about if you make something enough, you understand proportions and how something looks in a way that you wouldn't otherwise. So like if you're following a recipe, you're following the rules, right? But if you are doing your own thing, you aren't necessarily measuring exactly and stuff like that. It's very mix it by feel kind of a thing. So I haven't had that good a potato salad since I was like 8 years old when she passed away. Oh, I'm sure, Stars. I'm guessing that a lot of European potato salads do a more vinegar-based dressing. US, obviously, it's usually a mayo-based dressing because heaven forbid something in the United States not use mayonnaise. So I think I'm gonna finish up these blues, so like this row, and then I'm gonna call it. Oh, that's fair. Regional would make sense too. Stew. Irish stew is like one of those major foods. Oh, no, Greg says no. That's fair. I've maybe waited too long, but we'll still finish these. Ooh, this is a really nice blue. This is the boy version of the pink, opera pink. This is the blue version of that. It's so bright. Look at her. I know I just said boy version. Leave it alone. Gender doesn't exist. It's made up. But Irish stew is definitely one of those things that is known to be like that regional dish that's super good. We have an Irish pub up here that does a Guinness beef stew that's really good. As a good stew should be. I don't know what drink our paint water is now, but it does not look as delicious as the grapefruit juice did to me. Yeah, for sure. I love making soups. Soup is just a potion, and a stew is just a thick potion, so... Ooh, this is a really pretty color too. I like blues. Blues slap. This is a teal specifically, but look at her. Beautiful. That's a lovely color. I don't know that I want to eat blueberry soup. Cold fruit soups are a thing. I've had some before, but I can't vibe with it. It's not the same. You know what? Even if my brother isn't making mac and cheese for lunch, which is so valid, I have frozen mac and cheese in the freezer that I can heat up for lunch, and then I can still have mac and cheese, and then I can also have mac and cheese when he makes it, which is just double mac and cheese, so it's double good. Yeah, which I shouldn't drink, just to be clear. I'm not actually going to drink the paint water. I think I get enough poisons just living in our current world. I don't need to introduce any others. Yeah, exactly. Double the cheese, double the fun. Let's go. This is a color that I do have on my regular palette too. I just like it. Do I use it that much to mix anything? Not really, but it just slaps as a color and it makes me happy, so. Exactly, exactly. Although there was one time where the guy I was dating made nachos. And this is the only time I've ever said this, but he used too much cheese. Because, like, if I was just eating cheese, that would be fine. If it was cheese and crackers, that would be fine. But the nachos were not really nachos. It was like a couple crumbs of tortilla chips stuck together with cheese, and it was like thick cheese. It was a lot. That's the only time I've ever said too much cheese. I think cheese is just God, Aiden, at that point. Right? Like, all hail cheese. Let's go. Okay, let's do this color. I'll probably do the last one on this row, and then I will see who's streaming, and I can launch you all into the void while I go and eat mac and cheese. I think Rainbow's still live, so I might go bother her unless somebody else is I'm vibing with today. We'll see. Yeah. And it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't out of malice or anything. I think the cheese was just sliced too thick. Oh yeah, if I do the next one on this row, then we finish both on a row on the sheet and on the row on the dot card, and that's perfect, and I love that for us. Okay. Yeah, there is such a thing as too much cheese, but it takes a lot to get there. This is an interesting color. I'm guessing this is another one that somebody made because it's called Kingman Green, which sounds like a last name to me. Yeah, it sure does. Ooh, that's a nice color. I like that. Kingman, I like your green. So we're getting there on these. We still have a fair amount to go. It's a lot of paints. So there's 266 watercolors on this, and we did some of those already, but we also did some gouache, which was not in the count originally. So I'm definitely thinking I want to get wisteria. I want to get lavender, and I need to see what the price is on the sugar guy, because I don't know. I really like it. It brings me joy. Let me have a little lookaroony here. I need to see how much it costs first. I mean, it's probably more affordable than it used to be for sure, thanks to globalization. But it might not be a color that I would really use all that much, which makes it a little silly to get. Oh. There's somebody smallish playing a game that's bad that I like. But I think we're gonna go hang out with Rainbow. Rainbow is also doing art, and I like Rainbow. Rainbow's good people. I was going to put a mark next to Kingsman here because I'm curious about that and would like to research it. I do need to leave these out so that they dry and I don't slap a whole bunch of colors everywhere. Because who would do that? Who would just stick her arm in wet paint and dye her arm magenta for 2 days? Not me. Definitely not me. I haven't done that within the past week. I will be back on Tuesday. As I already mentioned, it will probably be a shorter stream because I have a group meet thing, and I need some time in between streaming and being a person again to realign my personality, because that's just how it goes. Let me load tab, please, and thank you. It's good. I signed up for it on purpose. It's a book club. I am a little nervioso about it, but not in like a big way. It's fine. What should I do? I don't know what I should do. Go back to bed, maybe. So I mentioned that we're going to raid Rainbow. I have actually made a command for Rainbow because I finally remembered to do that. My computer's going to be really slow now because it's trying to load another video. She's working so hard. Well, you'll get to rest soon, baby. It's okay. Actually, it's not running as hot today. I did back up my files and delete a bunch of stuff this morning while I was working on stuff, so that helps. I try to do that at least once a month now. But we're gonna go bother Rainbow. Here is raid commands. So if you wanted to come with us, you could use these little copy pastas to say where you came from and join in the fun. The first one is for subs. It has a follower emote that you can use in other channels if you are subscribed. The bottom one has emotes that you can use anywhere. Let me change to my ending screen because that's a thing that I usually do. So that people know that I'm ending. Do I have anything else to say? Do I have anything else to say? Oh, the art that Rainbow is working on does have a couple spider-esque qualities to it. So if spiders really, really freak you out, you probably don't want to join in on this raid. It's like a cat mixed with a spider, so it's not super scary. I promise that it's not super duper spidery. It's not gonna freak most people out, but I figure I'll give a warning just in cases. Also, I cannot type for the life of me. There we go. So it just has like a couple spider-esque qualities. It has extra arms and stuff like that, but it really mostly just looks like a cat. So I'll be back on Tuesday and we'll see what I'm working on. We'll see if I can manage to get my other stuff done in time or not. Maybe I just don't work on that at all this weekend and I just take a nap. We'll see. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chatting. Thank you, Aiden, for that incredibly cursed fact that I will inflict on everybody else. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. Remember you're loved. If you can't take care of and be kind to yourself for yourself, please do it for me because I think that you're awesome and you deserve nice things. And that includes from yourself, even on the days when it's really, really hard. Okay? So, mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you. I'm kissing you so gently on the forehead. And I will see you next time. Bye.